Good evening, YouTubers. For today, I've been in a bit of a bind in that my computer has died. Completely died. I've done the usual diagnostics to figure out what it was, and ultimately I determined it was the graphics card has pretty much died. Now, I don't want to cough up the money for a new one, so I'm going to do what every sane person will do, and that is bake it in the oven. Seriously, I'm going to bake it in the oven. That is how to fix a dead graphics card. Now, a few things to point out is you don't want to use the microwave oven. No microwave. Use a regular oven. And to do it, you will first have to preheat the oven for 385 degrees to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 200 degrees Celsius. You also want to bake it for between 8 and 10 minutes. After that, you'll want to take it out of the oven, let it cool for about another 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can put it back together. Now, I'm going to videotape all my steps and show you what I'm doing, so that in case you ever end up in that bind, you can do the same thing. Let's get started. Alright, so the two tools you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver and a little screwdriver, one kind of like this. Also, don't forget to preheat the oven to 385 or something of that nature. You will want to cover a baking sheet with aluminum foil like this, and then take 4 pieces of aluminum foil and turn them into balls like this. Alright, so this is my computer. It is an early '08 Mac Power Pro. And this thing weighs about 100 pounds or so. Maybe not that much, but a lot. And it is about 9 years old. So the fact that the graphics card that was recalled in 2011 that I never got a notice on is still working, or was still working for 9 years, I think is pretty amazing. To access the inside of a Mac Pro, you simply unlock the latch like this and then take off the cover. Now, I have actually added some components to this one that were originally not included. For example, I added an extra 2 terabytes of storage, internal storage. It originally came with only 1 terabyte, but I added 2. And then I also added 8 gigs of RAM, when it originally came with only, I guess, 2 gigs of RAM originally. So I have a total of 10 gigs of RAM. Now, you don't have to flip it on the side like I just did, but since I'm videotaping, it would be a little easier to demonstrate and show you with better light what I was doing. So you take the Phillips, you unscrew those 2 screws, which don't even pop out, and then you can just easily detach the graphics card and get it ready for baking. So what you want to do is you want to take a screwdriver and take out every single screw here. Screws there, just everywhere. Take them all out. You want to detach both this part and this part before placing it in the oven. Now, the next thing you will want to do is take some Q-tips and rubbing alcohol and clean the entire graphics card very well, getting off all the dirt and dust and anything else. Alright, so now take all 4 balls and put them into the baking tray like that. And you will place the actual graphics card on the balls like so. This will keep it elevated so it doesn't get too hot, and the aluminum foil on the baking pan will also help reflect heat onto the card. Alright, now comes the moment of truth. Let's see if this trick actually works. I've already got my microwave timer set at 8 minutes, and there it goes. In 8 minutes, we'll pull it out. Well, there's the actual card. As you can see, it's perfectly fine. Nothing has melted, as nothing was expected to melt. We will wait about 10 to 15 minutes to let it cool off, and then we're going to put it back in the tower. Once the graphics card is cool to the touch, you can remove it from the aluminum foil and put all those pieces back on it. And once you have all the screws back into the graphics card, then it is time to insert it back into the tower. Now I can't do this with one hand, so you gotta excuse me while I put the camera down. As you can see, I have it back in there, maybe a little dark, but then after you've done that, then it's time to put this back into place, which is really quite easy. Once you have those screws basically in there, you can take your Phillips head and just tighten them up. And then you put the cover back on, and it will be the moment of truth after that. Alright, so I've already baked the graphics card in the oven at 385 for 8 minutes. I've already put it back into the tower. I've already put the tower back under my desk. I've already connected all the necessary wires that were already connected to it. And did it work? Well, let's find out. If it didn't work, then I have to go cough up money for a new graphics card, and I really don't want to do that. If it did work, then I have a 9-year-old graphics card that was recalled 6 years ago that shouldn't have even been working, and it didn't as of this morning, but we'll see. Alright, I hear the power. Oh, there it is. It was not doing that this morning. So, baking your graphics card in the oven at 385 for 8 minutes will fix it. And it will even fix a crappy graphics card that never should have even been there in the first place. Alright, I've already cut a little bit out. What I did have to do was I had to reboot it back into safe mode. The reason is because what I just discovered was the fans went back to their default settings. Now, because of as much video work as I do, and as cheap as I am with the air, because I don't keep the fans on in my place, it gets very warm in here, even in the winter, or at least today where it was very warm, it got a little warmer. So what I had to do was reboot it into safe mode and turn the fan speed back up. Normally I think the default setting is around 500 to 600 RPMs. To keep mine from overheating, I turn it up to about 1500 to 2000 RPMs. And I also will monitor the temperature of the tower, and even at that rate it can get pretty warm. But anyway, I did have to do that. So it works. This trick works. I am living proof of that. This was not a joke. And I say that is it for the Bearded Nerd Fixes stuff. Hopefully this will be the only episode I ever have to do that. See you next time.